Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have a very special training. You're going to learn about how to know your numbers and turn around declining sales for Amazon sellers. So as you know, one of the keys of running a successful ecom business and Amazon business today is you got to know your numbers. And I love what Peter Drucker shared, the famous business management guru. He says, it's best, whatever gets measured gets managed, right? And I've interviewed about 180 seven-figure sellers, ecom experts, and it's like a broken record. They say, you got to know your numbers, guys. If you don't know your numbers, it's almost like taking shots in the dark. You don't know what you're doing. You might not hit the target. You're unprofitable. That's why I invited Mark and Danon today to really teach you how to know your numbers and turn around declining sales for Amazon sellers. So welcome, Mark and Danon. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good. Yeah.
Doing great.
Thank you for having us on, Gary. Much appreciated. So we're ManageByStats. We are a software that helps you know your numbers. All right. Thanks for coming to joining the webinar, guys. No. So we're dedicated to helping sellers know exactly what their numbers are down to the penny and being able to manage and make strategic decisions based on the knowledge of those numbers. So another axiom of life is knowledge is power, right? So knowing your numbers would be step number one, and then action based on that knowledge would be step number two. And that's basically what we help you do. And Mark here is going to show you. So first of all, thank you everybody for answering the survey that was sent out. It was super enlightening for us. And by and large, we're going to handle hopefully we get to all of your concerns and questions. And Mark is going to show you that in just a second. We're going to take a few minutes on our slides where we just give you an overview of what's going on. And then we're actually going to go into our demo account and show you, based on the questions that you answered, how do you figure out that information? And for those of you who your answers were panic, we're going to help you too. So don't you worry. So I'll let Mark is the COO of ManageByStats, by the way. I didn't.
All good. No worries.
Yep. And he's going to take it away.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's jump in and we'll start with our little slide presentation here.
And just 1 minute before we get into that, guys. I wanted to quickly welcome everyone that's joining us live, because we are live. If you can see and hear us, if you can please type your name and where you're joining from in the chat, just so we know. And one other thing I really believe strongly in is, e-commerce can be a very lonely, world, right? Because a lot of our friends don't get this Amazon thing. They don't get this ecom thing. So if you know someone that's getting into e-commerce, or maybe they're a seven-figure seller, if you think that they can benefit from knowing their numbers, increasing their profitability, sharing is caring, why not pass along this link to them right now so they can join along? Maybe that one thing they're stuck on, we can unblock that and really, they can really crush it this year. So really appreciate that, guys. And other than that, Mark and Danon are open to answer questions. So if during the webinar, they're going to go through a lot of different things, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and then we'll try to answer as many as we can. And thank you everybody that pre-submitted. We had over 100 registrations and questions, and I passed everything to Mark and Danon. I think they tailored it to try to answer as much as they can. So it's going to be a really value-packed presentation. I encourage you to put your phone on do not disturb, so you can really lock in on this. I think this will be super valuable for you guys. All right. So I'd like to quickly welcome a couple of people in the chat that are joining us. We have Hazoyi, forgive me if I mispronounce your name, from Vancouver. We have Samuel from Ecuador and Chinedu from Miami. All right, so welcome, guys.
Our neck of the woods.
Yes, your neck of the. And where are you guys joining us from? By the way,
we're in Tampa, Florida.
Awesome. All right, so everything looks and sounds great. So without further ado, let's get into the presentation. I'll go ahead and bring up your slides.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So this is going to be all about how do you actually manage an Amazon business, right? All of us are starting or creating on our Amazon businesses, trying to get as much profits as possible. And you, in learning how to do Amazon, there's so many different things that you run into in Seller Central or through coaches or whatever, but you need to have datums or metrics that you know how to analyze and what to do with those metrics, right? So here I'm going to show you basically how to know what area of your Amazon business needs your attention and what you can actually do about it, okay?
Should I cover some of the questions on the first answers
actually
on the first question?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So the first question we asked everybody here, in case there's anyone joining us live that hasn't answered the questions already, if your sales volume goes down, what do you do? That was the first question we asked. And there's a lot of panic and praying that happens, and that's okay.
Yep.
Once you get done with that, first of all, Gary, we had some phenomenal answers in here, some really, really brilliant answers on checking KPIs and finding out, looking and finding what the problem is, right? But we've got some people that answered nothing, evaluate what's changed, supply chain problems, and a lot of people actually said that they would drop their price and do coupons, which I personally found interesting because I've never done that once in my life. And I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do, but one of the things that Mark's going to show you guys is, and one of the things that we determined is most of the people said that they were going to change, either drop their price, do more advertising, or run coupons. We're going to show you, Mark's going to show you in just a second here, how to find out why your sales went down, because your sales going down is the end product. There are other indicators before your sales go down that are going to lead to sales going down. And he's going to show you right now how to look at where to look and what to look for that's going to herald your stats going down. And then if you know that, then you can take action to prevent it. So go ahead, Mark, and I'll stop talking.
Thank you. All good. All right. So what makes up managing an Amazon business, right? We all kind of know there's a lot of different aspects of Amazon. What do we actually need to look at when viewing our Amazon business? So some of the things that you can think of is, okay, you need to find a product, create and optimize it, launch that product, do what you can during the honeymoon period to get it really ranking. Of course, managing PPC. Everyone knows that we have to do that now. Customer service, of course, managing your inventory, make sure you don't run out of stock, getting brand registration or some kind of product protection so you don't get hijackers or somehow your listing getting messed up or deleted or whatever, right?
That never happens.
Right. Doing on Amazon branded marketing. So there's about, if you're brand registered, you can do a bunch of different PPC campaign types that you can't do if you're not brand registered. Of course, dodging Amazon glitches. We all know that Amazon has a algorithm or has a, whatever it is that sometimes will take your listing and go, oh, this is a bad listing, and kill it, right? So there's different things you have to do to dodge Amazon. And then, of course, off Amazon marketing to drive traffic to your Amazon listing. So those are all things that we know that we need to do, or, as we're starting up an Amazon business, we need to do all these things to actually get the product selling and moving it along. But let's take a step back and look at management itself. Managing, how do you actually, once you have the product up and running, what do you need to look at in order to get your sales going up? Prevent your sales from going down. If there's something that's causing a slight delay in your sales or slight slow in your sales, what can you do about it now to prevent it from becoming a huge dip in your sales, right? So, like Gary was mentioning, you have to know your numbers, right? So you have to know what it is that you need to look at and then take the correct action to revert that bad scene, whatever it is, right? So in Seller Central, you're all familiar with this. We know that there's also some people that are brand new to selling on Amazon. So in Seller Central, there's a ton of metrics that you can look at, and there's a ton of metrics they give you. There's tons of reports that you can download, and inside of Seller Central, you have a one or two graph sections where you can overlay a bunch of metrics on top of each other, but it gets kind of confusing really fast. As you can see, there's like 7 different lines on this graph, and it's kind of hard to compare stuff.
I just realized what this is. You remember the little video, double rainbow? What does it mean?
No.
Oh man, Gary, do you know that? It's like, is this internet sensation for a little while, double rainbow, what does it mean? You remember?
It went viral for a little while. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it went majorly viral. That is this. A whole bunch of colors overlaid.
What does it mean?
What does it mean? You know, this is a double rainbow. What does it mean? Nobody knows.
Yep.
Sorry, I just
that's great.
Thought of something.
Yeah. Additionally, there's metrics that Amazon doesn't give you. So there's if you download the reports and put them into Excel and make a graph out of it, you can do what we're doing. We do all this on automatic, but there's metrics that you don't necessarily get from Amazon when you look at their graphs or the different metrics that they provide in a graphical view. You don't get some of the stuff that you need, and so we have all of that in our system as well. That you're going to be able to look at. So this all, again, there's so many different metrics, right? So even if we just took a step back and went, okay, we got all those metrics into our system, it's like, okay, what needs your attention first, right? So you have to know what to look at first. And that's where we created something called your KPIs. And everyone knows there's KPIs out there, right? But we've isolated the actual 4 KPIs for an Amazon business. These 4 metrics will actually tell you everything you need to know about your brand, about an individual product, or about your whole account. And by looking at these 4 metrics, you can pinpoint what area of your business needs your attention. So if your sales are going down, this is the start of answering that question. If your sales start to go down, what do you do? The first thing you have to do is you got to know your numbers, and you have to know what area to look into to find out what is causing that down statistic.
You need to know your numbers, but you also need to know which numbers you need to know.
Yeah.
And that's where we help you guys out on.
Exactly. This is the top of the pyramid, right? This is the key elements you need to look at to go, okay, now I need to know. You can look at these things and then dive into what area of your business needs attention. Okay, so
and we'll show you this live in just a little bit here.
Yeah. All right, so you need to know which KPIs, which metrics actually influence these KPIs. Okay, and what to do about them. So if you have a metric that's going down, what can you do about that to get it going back up? So I'm just going to run through these really quick so you can get an idea of what it is how they pertain to your business, right? So sessions. This is sessions directly measures how many times your listing is being seen. So how many eyeballs are going to your listing, whether through advertising or through organic search, right? So all the things that actually influence this or relate to it, of course, are your listing keywords, A+ content, your main image and title, any advertising efforts you're doing, your star rating, and of course, having the buy box, right? Graph that you'll want to look at in relation to sessions. Of course, your advertising impressions, if you have the buy box or not, and your sales rank. Conversion percent. Your conversion percent measures the average number of units sold per session. So you're getting people looking at your product. Are they then taking that view and going, oh, I should buy this? It makes sense for what I'm searching for. Yes, good. And then do they actually follow through and give you their money? So you need to have a good conversion rate in order to actually to get better sales, get more volume of sales. If you have a bad conversion percentage, you're going to have, it's going to be a declining game after that, right? So the things that influence this, of course, your product images. Do those communicate to the person that this is what they want to buy and in detail or whatever? Of course, your title, bullets, description, A+ content, all of that being optimized to have the correct keywords that the person is searching for. Making sure that content speaks to that kind of a person. So your audience, right? The star rating, of course, for the product, having at least 10 reviews for newer products. And then of course, your price and the buy box. Those are all things that will influence your conversion rate.
A quick shout out to Akrumi who's here.
Hey,
we've got a cheerleader. Thanks, Akrumi.
Love it.
That's most likely
welcome,
Don.
Akrumi. Yes, great guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gary, that was your Don. You just had Don on your last webinar, right?
Yeah, we just had Don from Akrumi on just a few weeks ago, teaching about cash flow for Amazon sellers, how you can scale from 100K to 1 million. So if you guys didn't check that out, make sure you check out the replay in our YouTube channel. That's a ton of value there. So great stuff. Let's keep going, guys.
Awesome. Yep, perfect. And then key performance indicators for conversion, or key metrics to look at for conversion percentage: advertising clicks, average customer review, of course, quantity ordered, quantity paid for. That's going to just tell you if you're getting those good conversions. And then, of course, having the buy box, right? So these all relate to that. Okay, profit. Profit's going to be what's left over after your cost of goods, your advertising, Amazon's fees, all that kind of stuff, right? So you want to make sure we're all in this for profit. This is, we're doing these businesses so that we can do whatever we want with our lives, right?
It's not a favor to Amazon.
Exactly. We're not trying to work for Amazon here. So, of course, your price, Amazon fees, cost of goods, ad costs, these all affect your profit.
And bringing up question number 2 that we asked, let me just find it here real quick. It was, what is your number one question about profitability in Amazon FBA business? These are a lot of these things that we just covered here are a lot of the questions that you guys had. How to determine your COGS and your profits, an actual breakdown of Amazon fees. These are all things we're about to show you live in our demo account. So, hold on to your chairs. All your questions will be answered soon.
Yeah, and they don't teach you this in school, guys. I mean, you can't go to like a college course to learn about Amazon profit. So, I mean, this is kind of like your, e-commerce or Amazon, masterclass right now. So definitely pay attention, guys.
Yeah,
I love it. Good. So then metrics or graphs that you want to look at relating to profit is going to be, of course, estimated gross profit. So we have a graph for that inside of our system. You obviously can't see that inside of Seller Central. Your average cost per click, your advertising spend, of course, your cost of goods. So you'll have your cost of goods inside of our system. You'll be able to see how much your cost of goods is taking away from your profits. Your product sales revenue, so how much revenue you're getting, your net revenue, Amazon payouts, and then of course you can also see a graph for your profits after sales tax and PPC. So we have graphs for all of that relate to your profits. And then of course, last but not least, average reviews. So reviews are the lifeblood of your product and of your account. If you have bad reviews, you're going to be getting lower sales. If you have bad reviews, you're going to could have a bad conversion rate. So
you'll also spend more on PPC.
Exactly. So reviews of course are the lifeblood of your account. So you need to have a high star rating, and you need to also have some kind of a system to make sure you keep getting a steady flow of reviews into your products. And then, of course, graphs relating to that, your average customer review. So what's the average review? So if you're getting 10 reviews in a week, what's that average of those 10 reviews? Then the number of customer reviews. So are you getting 10 reviews? Are you getting 20 reviews, 30 reviews or more, right? Average number of stars. So what's the star rating that you have for either your whole brand or for groups of products or individual products? And then new customers is it's actually a vital point to your reviews, because if you're not getting a volume of new customers, you're going to have less and less reviews coming in. Okay, so now let's take a look at how MBS helps you with all these. So I'm going to share my screen now. Let's see if we can go over here. There we go. All right. Okay. Get the mirror effect out of there. Yeah. Gary, you can see the screen okay?
Yes, looks great.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, okay. We had one. Sorry, guys. We had a quick question from Samuel about reviews. Do we have time to take that now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Samuel asks, what if I don't have reviews? Do I have to launch below the average cost in the market?
So different schools of thought on that, but generally I would say yes, depending on what kind of finances you have for launching that product. But generally I would say yes, it's definitely a smart strategy to go, okay, start your price off as low as you possibly can so that you can actually get people saying, oh, okay, I'll spend $12 or $19 or something that's under what most of the other people are at, so that you can actually start to get some volume of sales. And then as you get those volume of sales, if you have a system in place to get reviews from those people, then you'll start to get some reviews in. So yes, it's definitely a smart thing to do. But again, you're looking at
not necessary though.
Right.
Not necessarily necessary. Like you can, well, I don't think we should go too far into it. The answer is it's not a bad idea to do that.
Yeah.
But there are other ways that you can go. You can go micro influencers on Instagram and just ask them to get your product out there and give a discount.
Yeah.
That way you're not starting your price so low.
There's lots of creative ways to go about it. Again, having some coach or some person who can kind of show you the ropes of what's the best way to start it. And then of course it also depends on, how much finances you have. If you're starting off with just, $5,000 to get your whole brand started, yeah, you need to be thinking very smartly with how you spend that money. If you have, $40,000 to throw into it and actually get, several products launched and rolling, you can probably have a little bit of leeway of doing things that to boost that sales up without having to go so low on your price.
Cool. Does that answer the question well enough, Gary?
Yeah, I feel that that's great. And if I can weigh in, I like to think of it like, if a store has a grand opening and they're going to have this big, sale on that thing, and to get people, to get the volume going, right? To get the the flywheel spinning. So your price doesn't have to be fixed in stone, Samuel. I mean, I always feel like the price, there could be like a launch price, there can be a growth price, there can be a profit price. And I'm sure that, Mark and Dana, they're going to walk you through more about profitability, but there's many ways to do this. And it's a really good question. So
just one little point. When you go to raise your price, you don't want to go from like $10 to $30. You need to be incrementally raising your price over, a month and a half or something like that. That's a little tip I learned recently. You don't just boost it way up, because Amazon, the algorithm's going to go, what's going on here?
You'll lose the buy box if you do that. So, okay. Good. Let's jump into these. So here's on the dashboard of ManageByStats, you have customizable dashboards that you can do what you want with. But one of the template dashboards that we provide for every client is this one here called KPIs by ManageByStats, and this basically gives you your KPIs and all of the graphs or the metrics that you need to see that actually influence these 4 main KPIs. So
you guys remember we just covered in the slides these KPIs and the influencing statistics. So here it is in visual reference for you.
Yep. So sessions, if your session is going up or down, these top graphs are on a 3-month view. And we're going to dive in a little bit closer in, I guess you can say. This is a monthly view where you can actually see on a daily basis how your sessions are doing. So you can see that up and down, what's happening there. You, of course, have advertising impressions. So like we covered in the slides there, people going to your listing either from a organic search or from your ads. So are your ads, driving people to your listing or not? Of course, your sales rank. If you have a really low sales rank, you're going to get less organic eyeballs on your listing. If you have a higher sales rank, you're going to get more organic eyeballs on your listing, right? Of course, having the buy box. If you lose the buy box, you get a hijacker or something like that. Your sessions are going to drop because now that other person has it. So each KPI in here has these influencing metrics right below it, so you can easily look at, okay, well, my conversion rate dropped. What dropped here? Okay, well, look at this drop right here.
Let's just, I just want to tell everyone here, this is in direct reference to question number 1. What do you do when your sales go down, right? So now let's assume sales have gone down. Mark is now going to investigate, why did sales go down?
Yep. So I'm going to look here at my conversion rate. I can see it dropped on this date. If I look at what the date coincident is here, okay, I have my conversion rate drops here. All right, let's look at this click-through rate. That doesn't really have a correlating effect here. Okay, something happens here. My advertising clicks immediately start dropping after that. Pretty much date coincident with that drop up there. Okay, what else? Oh, okay, average customer reviews. I got a bad review in, or a bunch of bad reviews in, so it took my average way down. Okay, that's the culprit right there. I can go, okay, and now I need to know what products are getting the bad reviews. Why are they getting bad reviews? Is it a manufacturing problem? Is it a competitor, just spamming with me with a bunch of bad reviews? What's, you can kind of dive in. Now you can go, okay, now I need to look at what products actually are the culprit there, and then go and figure out how you can actually handle those bad reviews. Okay.
You can see that the average customer review obviously bounces back up because we went, okay, we need bunch of good reviews. Now look at quantity ordered. It dove down and then it crept back up after the average customer review crept up, went back up.
Yep. So this now gives you an exact area of your business that you can dive into and go, this is the culprit. I need to go and look in that area and actually do what you can to handle it and get your sales going back up again.
Yep.
Okay.
Contact Amazon. Tell them that bad shipping doesn't deserve a 1-star review.
Hey guys, we had a quick question.
Yes.
Can we answer that? Chinedu asks, do we need to enter any information manually, or does it connect to Amazon and upload all this information automatically?
So the only good question. The only thing that you have to enter into, not have to actually, the only thing that it's smart to enter into ManageByStats is your cost of goods. Everything else we pull automatically, parse and process and display for you automatically. So, there's some stuff that comes in on a delay through Amazon's API system, but a day or two delay. But otherwise, it's all being pulled in every day. And so you don't need to do anything. You just open up your account. If you have your cost of goods in there, your profit numbers are going to be more accurate. So you'll still get profit numbers without entering your cost of goods. It's just not going to be more accurate, right? If you're not counting your cost of goods in your profit, you're probably, not actually being able to pocket that profit. But so, yeah, that's the only thing you really have to enter. We pull in all of your products into our system. And we pull everything, all the details, all of your transactions, everything is all put into here.
Yeah. So if you signed up today, this is what you'd see tomorrow. And we acquire 2 years worth of data automatically. Is that right? 2 years worth of data automatically?
Well, I think it's 6 months for some of it, and then 2 years for customers and transactions.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically, if you sign up today through Gary's link, you'd see this tomorrow.
Yeah. But then
Excellent.
you can just go through.
Can I also ask a follow-up question? The fact that you can get 2 years of your historical sales data. So let's say, I'm like Chinedu, I'll enter in all of my, COGS, cost of goods sold, etc. And then let's say, hypothetically, I'm looking to exit my business, and the aggregator or whoever the potential buyer will ask for your books, right? Your numbers.
Yep.
How much of this can be generated for me by ManageByStats? How much time can I save?
So much. I mean, literally. If you join now, right, you have all this stuff being parsed for you. We'll pull back as much as we can like if you've been selling since 2014 or 2010 or whatever, right? We can pull back certain amount of information all the way back to the beginning of your account.
Yep.
Advertising metrics we can't pull in. We can only get 6 months worth of data for that, just because Amazon's API cuts off after that amount. But if you've been with us since 2014 or whatever, we keep your whole history. So you don't lose anything after a year or whatever. You have all of that historical information stored in your account.
And I also want to point out, you mentioned the aggregators. We are actively working with quite a few different aggregators right now, and building out a system where a ManageByStats customer can just go, yes, I want to. I've decided I'm going to exit my business. Grant them access, and a lot of their due diligence, which is quite a long period of time, is done directly inside of ManageByStats because it's all there. As long as your COGS, your cost of goods sold, is accurate, the information's already there. You give them a P&L, and they look at ManageByStats, and they can make a very, very educated decision very quickly.
Yep.
So it can expedite the process considerably.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. I mean, if the aggregators are using ManageByStats to get a snapshot of, potential acquirers, I think it makes sense if you're not sure about your numbers to use this tool as well. So I usually share the link at the end for the special offer, but because we are talking about this, and I know some people may have to run early, so I'm just going to share the link in the chat first, because we have a special offer for everybody watching here today. You're going to get a 30-day free trial and 3 months of their ads manager for free, and additional 20% discount.
Yep.
And additional 20% off the main MBF subscription. So if you guys want to check that out. All right. So Yeah, let's
Perfect.
keep going, guys. Yeah, good
Sounds
job.
good. So you can go through each one of these and just evaluate what's happening there. And we could take an example of let's say we've isolated that it's our PPC, right? We look at our average cost per click. We can see that it's skyrocketing now. Okay, something's wrong with advertising. We're either doing something wrong or something's wrong with our product, and it's not converting, right? So let's say we want to dive into our PPC. We can go to this advertising section here and look at the advertising hub, which I opened up on a new tab. Here you're going to be able to see the 10 key metrics. These are the KPIs for advertising. The 10 key metrics that you want to look at when viewing your advertising to see, okay, how is it affecting your overall business? You of course have your profit numbers up here, your profit margin or your margins up here, your total revenue, your PPC revenue, your ACOS, your advertising cost of total sales, your of course PPC spend, how many PPC units and organic units, and then your impressions, right? So these are the 10 key metrics that you want to look at when analyzing your PPC and how it's relating to your overall sales.
And I'd like to point out that as he's clicking on these things, you'll see down in the bottom that the two graphs are overlaying against each other. Could you just highlight the PPC units and organic units? So this is something that I always find this metric very interesting. If you compare, it almost looks like DNA, right? This is PPC units to organic units. I found that as PPC units go up, you have a 1 to 2 week delay, maybe days or something like that. As PPC units go up, organic units follow. And as PPC units go down, organic will tend to taper down as well, and on a like a trailing some period of time. I love looking at these two metrics overlaid. So, let's just take the left graph where PPC units goes way down.
And by the way, these are fictitious numbers.
Yeah,
This is our demo account, but that's why you see negative 2,600. But nonetheless,
you got free inventory.
Yes.
Anyhow, that if you want, we only allow you to click on two graphs because that gives you we believe that gives you the best chance of doing a direct comparison and seeing how one metric compares to another and how they can be affecting each other, like these PPC units versus organic units. Yep. So I just wanted to, another one would be product revenue and PPC revenue. That's another great graph. Anyhow, I just want to point that out to everybody.
But what this does, it gives you now another way of actually diving into what area of your business needs attention, right? So if you're looking at your advertising as a whole and you want to dive into, what is the culprit, what area of your PPC is causing you to lose some profits, right? So your advertising cost of total sales, if you say, okay, these are fictitious numbers, but let's say this is going up and you're getting a worse advertising cost of total sales, you're going to want to find out what area of your business, which product or which group of products or which brand of your many brands in your account are causing this decline of your profits. So taking this, if you see that this is an indicator that you need to jump into, what you can then dive into is our finances area. And this is an area that we kind of touched upon earlier, where it covers P&L and aggregators, knowing your numbers and this kind of stuff. You can actually see this breakdown by individual products in here. So I'm just going to go over to this tab here. In the finances area, you have an overview, so you can kind of see a breakdown of all your finances from Amazon.
Let's not quite leave this because this is one of my favorite graphs on ManageByStats. From left to right, it shows you what your gross profit is. Assuming you've put in your cost of goods sold, it's going to give you a very, very accurate number. So again, these are fictitious numbers, but you can see in the top, in the pie chart at the top right there, you've got a 60% profit margin. That ain't half bad, right? But it also allows you, especially we know a large percentage of you have only been selling on Amazon for 1 to 3 years, maybe a little less. And this gives you a really, really good snapshot of how the health of your business, right?
Yep.
Just an immediate, am I doing okay, right?
Yep.
And you can change the range that you're looking at. I prefer to view things by statement, but of course I also like knowing my weekly, monthly, and yearly numbers.
Yeah.
But I just wanted yeah, sorry. I just want to point that out because this is one of my favorite graphs on ManageByStats.
Yeah, this gives you a real clear overview of where your finances are at. And again, this is all to the penny accurate to what you see on Seller Central. So we're taking those exact statements and breaking it down in detail. But now that you got this overview, you can then dive into this breakdowns tab right here. And what you got here is now a complete breakdown of, right now we're looking at a brand, right? So we can look at individuals
by brand,
right? So we can see we have 6 brands here, 5 or 6 brands here, and we can see how each of these is doing, the number of sales you're getting, any kind of refunds you're getting, what Amazon's paying out to you for each of those brands. You have your cost of goods for each of those, any inbound shipping costs, advertising spend, and then your advertising cost of total sales. So taking that metric, you go, okay, I had my advertising cost of total sales going up. Okay, which one of these is eating that profit, right? So we can see this one here. Okay, this is the one that's actually causing my profit to go down because there's too much of my advertising cost of total sales here. Then you can dive into those campaigns, go into Seller Central, or go into our advertising manager, which you'll get a free 3 months access to, and dive into those campaigns, see which keywords are eating that profit, and then make those adjustments. And you can do that very easily inside of our advertising manager. But that now gives you a clear direction from, first off, just saying, oh, my sales are going down, to now you know what exact area of your business, whether it's the listing itself, your PPC, your reviews. You now have a clear direction of what area of your business needs to be tackled and reverted so that you can actually have some sales going back up again.
I just want to bring back the questions here. What is your number one question on profitability in Amazon FBA business? A lot of you said the FBA fees. This is where you find them.
Yep.
So go ahead and now if this were a real account and there were other fees, and I don't mean the other fees item there, I mean additional other fees. This is where you're going to find them.
Yep.
Now you can, right now we've got this filtered by brand and by statement, but if you want to view this by SKU or by ASIN, you can do that. Okay. So you can go all the way down to the SKU level and you can find, and you can pinpoint the SKU that is causing your heartache. All right. And so once again, a lot of you also wanted to know about how do you track everything down to the penny. This is where you track it down to the penny.
Yep.
If you're looking at by statement, this will be to the penny accurate as compared to Amazon.
Yep. The good thing about this is that you're not just getting a breakdown, of all the details. Yeah, we give you a breakdown of every single detail. You can click on this and see all the transactions that are in that time period for that particular brand, right? So we sort all that stuff for you. But from this Amazon payout, let's say we got, 231,000 payout. And taking the Amazon fees or whatever, 230 payout. But if you take into account your cost of goods, your advertising, your actual profit, what you're actually going to pocket that you can spend on motorcycles, bikes, boats, or whatever, right, is 187.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah. But now you can actually see, this is the actual profit. Yeah, there's maybe Google advertising, any kind of other subscriptions that you might have that are not going to be counted in here. But this gives you a very clear idea of, from Amazon, what is your actual profit, and that just kind of makes it a lot clearer. As I'm not just making a ton of revenue; you're making a ton of profit, or something's eating into your profits, right? So this gives you a very clear breakdown of that.
And as we're going through this, I'm reading the replies. I think that we have, by and large, we have answered most of your questions on how to track this stuff.
Yep.
If you're doing it on Amazon, I'll be totally blunt with you. It's a pain in the ass. Okay. That's it. Amazon does not make all things easy. Is it a wonderful platform? Absolutely. But in terms of data analysis, unless you love spreadsheets, it ain't the way to go. All right.
And even then, some of the spreadsheets are very hard to find.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, there, as an individual seller, there are even reports that they can't download that we download. Isn't that right? Okay. Right. Yeah. That's what I thought. So, some of this information.
Can you give an example of that?
Let's see, an actual report off the top of my head. No, I cannot. But
That's for that'd be a good question for our dev team, though.
yeah, so there's like
Okay.
yeah, but I'm sure I can find it if we have a
Sure.
follow up. I'll pull the actual reports
Okay.
so you can actually
Okay.
know which reports that you're not getting as a seller that we get through the API or through our developer permissions. So
Okay. Excellent.
a couple other things that I
we have
wanted to show.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can we answer a quick question before we move forward?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Chinedu had a follow-up question. Would you say this is best for FBA or FBM?
So this is ideal for both. For FBM,
We don't get the shipping information, or we don't
no,
always get the
if you
shipping.
ship through Amazon, we'll get the shipping information. If you don't ship through Amazon, we of course won't get it. But
Yep.
yes, we'll pull in your FBM orders so that all of the stuff will, we have a section here off Amazon. So if you are doing Shopify or something like that, and you're getting fulfilled by Amazon, or if you're just doing FBM orders, we'll pull all that in here as well. So it works both ways.
And you can you can look at those orders too. If I'm not mistaken, off Amazon orders, they start with an S. Is that right?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And so when we've barely scratched the surface of all of the tools that we have. There are like 18 more or something like that. This is the core purpose of ManageByStats, though. We believe this is the most important reason to have it. And most of the other tools that we built at the request of our customers so that they only had to go to one place to manage all of their business.
And they tie in like, there's even people that answered some of those questions there of like, okay, if you have declining sales, you need to look at your keyword ranking. Okay, yeah, we have a keyword tracker that actually shows you where you're ranking. And I want to show you that in a minute here as well. But like, all the tools they're all tied together, because it's kind of like if you're a carpenter, you need to have all the different types of tools, and you need to know how to use them all and know which ones go to which and which ones handle blah problem, right?
Yep.
All of these things all relate to making it easier to understand what's happening on Amazon and then take action faster.
Yeah. Let's show them those keywords though. Let's say that you're having some trouble with your PPC, and but you don't know which keyword is causing you problems. You can take all the keywords that you are advertising on in your PPC and dump them into our keywords tracker under Catapult, which our Catapult is like our, launch into awesomeness tool. And you can track your exact position every single day. We run a request to Amazon every single day for that keyword, and we look for the ASIN that you have on there. So
like as an example, right? So you have your product here. These are all the keywords that you're tracking. We give you the search frequency rank here, so you know that it's actually a keyword that makes sense to be tracking, to be looking at. People are actually searching for this keyword. We give you a little graph to show you your ranking. If you have products that have variations, will show you which variation is getting that best position. And then here you basically get a day by day exact number of what your ranking is. And so you can see, okay, you've dipped here, now you've gone back up, and now you're up at the top. And if you scroll back here, you can see he was on page 2. And now he's on page 1, getting closer and closer and higher, all the way up to the top 10 position.
And that those numbers, that is your position on the page.
Yeah. So here we give you these visual representations. So visually you can just go, oh, I'm on page 1, I'm on page 2, I'm on page 3. Oh man, I'm on page 4 or beyond. All right. So you can visually just go, oh, for this keyword, I'm okay, page 2, page 1, page 2, and you can easily see where you're ranking. And then of course you can adjust these. If you have most of your keywords on page 1, you can adjust these to have, the top 10, 20, and then 48. So now you have everything covered on page 1, and you can see how you're ranking on page 1 for all those keywords.
Because if you're not on page 1, you're on page done.
So yeah, you're obviously, and that ties into PPC, right? So if you're doing a whole bunch of campaigns and you're trying to see, let's say you're doing a ranking campaign, trying to push your ranking up on a certain keyword, but it's costing you a lot of money and you're getting bad conversions and you're spending a whole bunch of money that's not getting you good sales, you can go in here and look at that and go, okay, well, you could be pushing on this keyword right here and you're just not ranking well for it. And for whatever reason, it could be, it doesn't apply to you, or your title, your image for that product doesn't communicate that keyword, and so people are seeing your ad, going to your listing, and going, oh no, I don't want to get that, right? So you can use this to evaluate what area of your PPC needs attention, and should you be changing that keyword or going after a different keyword, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, excellent. Hey guys, we have a question from Christine.
Yep.
Do you have this for Walmart too?
Good question.
Good question.
The answer is no.
No. We have plans.
Yeah, we have plans.
We have plans.
And Shopify too.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this is excellent. I feel that, let's say we're like Samuel, we were asking about, launch and, do I have to launch below the average cost? Let's say he does have like a launch price that's below the average cost. This way he can track his rankings for his keywords, right? So let's say, for his primary keyword, he's moving up, and, this way, I mean, this saves a ton of time. I mean, previously, I was doing this manually, and yeah. What do you say, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. We can actually take it a step further. Let's show them the launch tracker. Yeah. So this is specifically built to track your key metrics when you are launching a product.
Let's see. This is a demo account.
Yeah, this is a demo account.
But so this basically gives you so each day we're going to show you what the launch day is. So this one we've been tracking for 700 days, but we set it up a long time ago. But you can see what your revenue is for that day. If you've had any sales, what your price is. So if your price, let's say you start low and you start increasing your price, we'll automatically pull in your price in here. How many reviews you have. So if you're starting off and you have 0 reviews, you start to get some reviews in, you'll see those popping in here. What your star rating is, sessions, session percent, your advertising spend, ad cost per unit, key metric that a lot of people don't think with, advertising cost of total revenue. So that's your total ACOS, or advertising cost of total revenue, very key metric. If you're distributing codes, so if you're doing deep discounts or just 20% discount or whatever you're doing, we'll pull. You can distribute those. You can put in how many you distributed, and our system will automatically pull in how many are redeemed, what your redemption percent is. If you're doing rebates, we have a system for a way to track that, and then from those, our system will automatically see, okay, if you had rebate orders, it'll take those away from your organic sales, and you'll see you got PPC sales or organic sales, and then
you can add any notes in there too.
Yeah. So that's a nice little tracking system as well. But that ties into the keyword tracker, right? If you are launching products, you're going after certain keywords, you can see how you're ranking on them. You can adjust your PPC accordingly to go after the correct keywords, and then see how those launch efforts do in here. As you make those adjustments, as you make changes to your campaigns, does that increase your PPC sales? Or as your rankings getting better and better on certain keywords, are you getting more and more organic sales, right?
Yeah. Cool. That I think that pretty much covers it. We're going to switch back over to the tab where we can see you, Gary, and all that.
Oh, yeah. So we don't want the mirror effect.
Yeah.
Did you want to mention the offer that you had for everyone?
Absolutely.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I can actually go back to the slide presentation, right? So we're still there. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, good. So there you go. That's what everyone wants, right? Be able to sit back, just managing your Amazon business, check it out, know what you need to tackle, go and tackle it. Instead of spending time finding out what is the problem, we help you zero in on what the problem is. You go and handle it, and you can go and longboard.
I do want to point out that having worked on the beach, like in the commercials of the Dream Life, is not actually as comfortable as it looks.
Love it. Okay, yeah. So how to sign up? I think we had that in the ticker earlier, but ManageByStats.com/7FSS. There you go. And then we have 2 bonuses here: 20% off for 3 months. So the normal subscription price, you get 20% off for 3 months, and you get our advertising manager free for 3 months, which is normally a $40 additional cost to the main subscription. So
you also get a 30-day trial instead of a 14-day trial. So in this case, there's no reason why you shouldn't try ManageByStats. Just go to the link and set up your account. It's fairly painless, I promise.
Yep.
And by tomorrow, if you set it up now, in tomorrow morning when you wake up, unless of course you're where Gary is, which it is tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Dichotomy. In 24 hours, you will have your data and you will be able to start assessing your information.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, factually, we pull in information immediately, so you'll probably have most of your metrics within an hour.
Yeah, prices.
So
yeah, that's right.
And then historical data will be pulled in over the 24 hours. So you can start to get an immediate view within an hour or two.
Cool. Now,
Excellent.
I'd like to ask anyone, do you have any further questions for us? Because we've got a few minutes left here.
Yeah. Well, before we get to Samuel's question, I'd like to again thank Mark and Danon for coming on today and sharing these strategies about profitability. I feel like this can be useful, and like what you said, everyone knows Amazon Seller Central is a hot mess. It's really hard to understand where to go to find all of the numbers. So that's why, if you're not doing it manually, I highly recommend you consider a tool like ManageByStats. So then this way it can help you really know your numbers, right? And whether you're launching like Samuel, or you're considering, FBA, FBM, or if you're scaling your business, or even getting ready for an exit, put together that P&L, tools like ManageByStats can help you. And just to be transparent, I am an affiliate of ManageByStats. If you do sign up through the link, you will get your bonuses, and I'll get a small commission. So this helps pay for our bills, and also it helps pay for my coffee. I do need a lot of coffee to keep me going, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on.
And coffee's gotten expensive, folks.
It is inflation, guys. I mean, if we're talking about
Exactly.
profitability, everyone knows those numbers. Well, I wanted to get to a couple of reader questions, or a couple of audience questions. Samuel asked, can you store data of the keywords of more than 6 months? Is there a way to check the keyword from a campaign that was activated last year?
So unfortunately, if you sign up now and we pull information, we can only pull 6 months worth of data on advertising. We wish we could pull more, but Amazon just cuts it off. So we can't pull in more. If you have been connected with us, we store your data historically. So
we have it already, and you would already know that.
Right. Right. So so unfortunately, right now, no. If you join up, we can only get 6 months. We're trying to work out. We're in conversations with their API teams to see if we can somehow get more data. But I know that their servers, I think their servers cut off, and they must have it, because you can go on a lifetime view and see your lifetime details, or overall details for your advertising. So there's got to be some kind of metrics there. But they only give us 6 months.
And we are part of the Amazon Developer Council, just so everyone knows. So we are actually in direct contact with Amazon when we're building our tools and connecting to their APIs and stuff like that. And we've actually helped them determine a few things that are broken, if you can believe that.
Sounds good. I had a question about profitability in terms of benchmarks. And I know that you guys are probably working with, a ton of different sellers, right?
Sure.
Are you can you share any benchmarks on, let's say, what is a good profit benchmark right now?
Yeah, well,
that's going to be, I have my own.
I know it depends
numbers.
on the niche. It depends on the product, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, is there like a ballpark, or do you see any trends? Because, obviously with the high shipping rates and all the delays coming from Asia, I mean, I'm just curious, because it seems like you're sitting on a mountain of data. I'd love to hear any insights from you guys.
Absolutely. I think that overall, I mean, everyone kind of knows over the years, you need to have at least a 30% profit margin.
Yeah.
That's kind of a starting point. A lot of people are, of course, trying to figure out how to get a little bit higher profit margin because of the shipping costs and all the different things that have been happening in that regard. But I would say, if you can think with a higher than 30% profit margin, somewhere closer to 40, that's going to be kind of the successful range to be in. And then, of course, relating to that, because profit margin is one thing, right? it's kind of funny because like you can just look at profit margin and how much profit you're making money wise. But at the end of the day, you want to scale your business, right? So you could be making $1,000 profit in a week or in a statement period, or you can be making $20,000 profit. But what's the key metric that's actually going to relate to that is your advertising cost of total sales. If your advertising cost of total sales is below 50% of your profit margin, then you know that's when you're making your real profit. And it's kind of, you have to look at these different metrics, not just look at, okay, if you get a profit margin of 30% on your cost of goods for that product compared to what your sales price is. Yeah, that's a starting point. But when you're selling, and if you're able to get a conversion rate and an ACOS to a point where your advertising cost of total sales, otherwise known as like tacos or true ACOS, or these different terms, but if you can get that below 50% of your profit margin, then you're making the most profit you possibly can. And that's the way where you can actually scale that. If you're starting off and you of course need to invest in advertising and invest in marketing and ranking. Yeah, you're going to have an advertising cost of total sales that's going to be higher than 50%. You're going to have a tacos that's like 25 or 30 or 50%. So you're kind of losing money, but you kind of have to look at those numbers. Otherwise, it's kind of like it's that old kind of thing of I'm selling on Amazon, but you're not making any profit, right? Yeah. It kind of goes a little bit deeper. Your profit margin can be blah, but you have to be getting a tacos or an advertising cost of total sales that's below 50%. And that's where you hit your sweet spot. You're making the maximum amount of profit per sale.
Excellent. And we have time for one last question. From How Zoe. Normally, how does profitability look for new sellers when they are expected to invest in PPC or advertising in the beginning in year-over-year insights?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, I think it obviously depends on your wallet, and what you want to actually invest and how much you want to invest. But I think a key datum here is when you're starting off, you are most sellers will, or most successful sellers will invest more, basically going past break even. Losing money basically in the first, 6 to 9 months
some of them go beyond that. They go a year of losing money.
Yeah. And you're trying to get eyeballs on your listing. And if you can get your ranking and sales volume high enough, that's when you're going to see that kind of thing tip over, where now your advertising cost of total sales is going to start to go lower because you have so much organic traffic, so much organic eyeballs looking at your products and buying your products. That's where you then start to see a huge amount of profits coming in. But you have to build up to that. You have to advertise. You have to get your product in front of people's eyeballs. And in order to do that, you have to be competitive. You have to spend money. You have to, be willing to, bleed some of that money out in order to actually get that ranking. So
we've got a slight issue. It looks like the coupon code isn't working. Christine, you should be able to just go to.
Oh yeah. You don't need to put in a coupon code. Yeah. Coupon will automatically be applied with that URL. So don't worry about putting in a coupon code there. Just go right to sign up.
Cool. All right, Gary, what do you
Excellent,
think?
Guys. That was a great session, and thank you so much, guys. How Zoe says, sounds great. Thank you.
You're
super
welcome.
Informative. So if you guys do want to automate this, save some time, I recommend you check out ManageByStats. They have a free 30-day trial, so it's no risk to you. And, definitely that's one of the keys right now. We have the increasing costs on the shipping side, the sourcing side. Amazon fees are going up. I mean, we gotta really be on top of our numbers, guys. I mean, I think that's the only thing that we can do to thrive right now, in the wild west of e-commerce. So I'd like to thank Mark and Danon for coming on today for the excellent training.
Gary, sorry, there's one more thing we actually forgot to show you guys. In our KPIs graph, at the top of each KPI, there is a little icon for a PDF. And the PDF gives you a checklist of places to look for problems, if that is the metric that's going down. So just know that in your dashboards, when you go to the ManageByStats KPIs dashboard, at the top are your 4 main KPIs. Each one of those has a PDF that we built. If that's the KPI that's going down, it gives you a checklist of places to look.
What to check for.
Yeah. So basically everything that we've talked about on this webinar is in those checklists. So you don't have to remember 60 minutes worth of information.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great, guys. Definitely check that out.
Yeah.
All right. So great job today, guys. Thanks so much for coming on, Mark and Danon. Really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for coming. And we will see you guys at the next session. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye. Thank you.